I don't think we live yet.
You just said the broadcast is live on my screen.
Oh, word? I can't even see none of that. All right, so we live and direct.
10 seconds, bro. We 10 seconds into the show.
Oh, all right, I see it. I see it. I see it right here. I bet. Yo, listen, everybody, man. This is another week of What's in Your Glass. Mellow Mondays, man. I got my brother on here today, Dame Dollar. About time he blessed the show. Been trying to get him on here for a while. He's been bullshitting. But
When
he
I
here
got the
now.
invite, I accepted right away, man. That's a lie.
I like that. I like that. Right away. Right away. I appreciate that. I'm sure the fans appreciate us sitting down, chopping it up, man. It's
For sure.
again, we're gonna just jump right into it, have some casual conversations, man. A lot of people want to hear what you have to say. I'm with you every day. I know what you have to say. Uh, but I'll jump right into it. Let everybody know what you've been like, what you up to, what you've been doing, what's going on out here in another room in this bubble.
I mean, I ain't really been up to a whole lot. I think everybody know when we came here, it was our focus was on trying to get in the playoffs. So I just been trying to make it as close to my normal life as possible. While sustaining that focus. Like you said, we pretty much together every day at practice and film and meetings, treatment, cold tub, and then game. So in between that time, I got my studio set up, so I mess around with the music, make sure I stay tapped in with my family. But I just been chilling, man. I ain't really been doing a whole lot. I just been kicking back.
So let's go back a little bit to like growing up a little bit. Um, Growing up in Oakland, right? And I'm gonna tie it back into your mindset today. Where did that mindset come from? And it kind of explain, where you've been, where you come from. People who know. People who know what type of person you are, know what type of person you are. But just give us a little background on kind of where you're from, so I can tie that into your mindset today.
I mean, just I think my mindset comes from the kind of adults that I grew up around. Where I was 8 years old and they didn't treat me like an 8-year-old. Like for example, when I was in elementary school, my coach was like one of my dad's good friends and my best friend's dad, Phil Taylor. And the way he coached us and worked us out and spoke to us was like we were, young men. It wasn't like we was little boys. And pretty much every conversation that he was having with his brothers and his friends and every situation that they was experiencing as men, they brought us in on all that stuff early, whether that was dealing with women or altercations or whatever it might be. So I think at a real young age, um, like what toughness looked like, what being genuine looked like, what being real looked like, what being fearless looked like, what having somebody's back looked like, what working hard looked like. I think I got a good view of that as a kid. So as I got older, I automatically, was in touch with the real stuff. And I think a lot of that is because of my dad and a lot of the people that I grew up around. And uh, nothing weak was accepted. You know what I'm saying? And that's from if somebody getting in trouble from telling on them, like, oh, he did this, or he was in the kitchen, like telling on each other. If something happened at the park and somebody end up getting into it and we don't have each other's back, if somebody buys something from McDonald's and you don't share your food, I mean, just every little thing, it was like, it was a lesson in it. And I think that's why, I landed where I landed now, like as far as not just my career, but like my mentality and how I approach stuff.
Do you think those core values that you was built off of are lost today on some people?
I mean, I can't expect everybody to have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't expect everybody to have it, but I think it's definitely lost. Um, and I think just because of social media and everything that the world is today, that it wasn't when I was growing up, makes it harder, to have things be that way. So I think it's definitely lost, and I don't think that's something that's gonna come back. I think it's gonna be the people who had it. They're gonna try to pass it on and continue that. Like, for example, like I'm gonna want my son to get the game and to get the stuff that I got, so he can conduct himself like I think is right. But I don't think it's just going, people gonna get that unless it was, a part of them, that line that they come from all along.
So how do you? So you and because you when your story speaks to a very specific group of people,
Yeah,
kids, younger generation who had to take the long road to get to success,
yeah,
right? Had to overcome so many people saying you can't do this and you can't do that, or you won't do this and you won't do that. So you're speaking to a very specific group of people on your mindset, your work ethic, and what you had to go through to be able to do what you are doing today. And a lot of people might look at us and say, "Oh, that shit it happened. Oh, they superstars.
yeah,
They're in the league. They're getting this much money. This and that. They have no complaints." But they don't really see, the quote unquote 10,000 hours
right,
of hard work that goes into where we at today. And for you, you took a longer route, right?
right,
You went to, high school, didn't really have that many schools on you, went to a small school, but you embraced that and
yeah,
you made that part of your motivation to what you are today.
yeah.
So talk to those people about what that mindset was.
I mean, my mindset was always to prove people wrong. I think that's something that's common um, amongst people who feel like they're being overlooked. I feel like going to 3 high schools, and my sophomore year I went to a private school, St. Joe's, where Jason Kidd went. And when I got there, I'm like, this where Jason Kidd went. I'm about to come here. I'm gonna be the next one after him. I got there, I ain't even play. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even get on the court my sophomore year in high school. And I think it was something inside of me that goes back to what I was telling you about the people I grew up around. That was like I had enough belief in myself and enough confidence in myself to where I was like, this can't be how it's supposed to go. So I ended up going to a third high school. And when I got there, I was back in that natural habitat. It was like public school. I was with all my friends. So it might seem like it was a worse situation because the school district wasn't as good. There was a lot more, I guess, negative shit going on around, like on the school campus and stuff like that. But it was more natural for me, and my grades got better. I was hooping with all my best friends. But I think what it came down to is um, that real belief that I had in myself and refusing to be denied. I didn't really listen to a whole lot of what people had to say that was negative. I just be like, nah, that ain't right. Like I don't believe that. Um, and I would also do everything in my power to give myself the best chance to succeed, like training and working out. And sometimes I work myself out. Sometimes I'll be going to Lake Merritt in Oakland, running, on my own and just doing everything that I could. And I felt like doing that, I was gonna get some type of result. So I mean, I got to my senior year in high school before I committed to Weber State. I got there and it was like the same shit all over again. I got to Weber and I thought I was doing something, getting a scholarship, and I'm like, I ain't even starting. Like when I got on campus, I was like, damn, I ain't starting. I ain't at North Carolina. I'm at Weber.
Right.
Like, so then that was like another thing where it was like, I gotta keep working. I gotta figure it out. And even then I was like, it ain't supposed to be like this. I'm telling myself this over and over and over. It ain't supposed to be like this. I'm supposed to be starting. I ain't supposed to be averaging 6 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just what was in me. And it every time that I think about these, like when I had these flashbacks to them times, I would always go back to my upbringing. Like the people that I was around, the mentality was just it was they hammered it into me, bro. Like I don't. My dad after games would just be like, "Man, these dudes ain't nobody." You know what I'm saying? Like
That's a fact.
these dudes ain't nobody. I don't care who you playing against. You know what I'm saying? They probably scared or, it's just hype. My dad was always filling me up like that. Like, man, because my dad done been around everything you could think of. So he was like, man, this stuff is just basketball. These dudes ain't tough like that. They got hype behind them and all that. So I took on that same mentality. And when I was at Weber, once I started, I started working with Phil Beckner, who I still train with to this day. He was like a grad assistant. We started working out, and I started to just see them. I started to feel the results, and I started to get better, and then took off. And I got to the league, it was the same thing. Like, so
You
it's
was
been
you, you was starting over. You was starting over at every level,
at every
basically.
level, but my mentality was the same thing. They ain't nothing. This ain't nothing special. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my mentality. So I think for people like that come from a similar situation as me, as far as being overlooked or underappreciated or not having the resources or just lack of opportunity, what it comes down to is, that real belief that you have in yourself. Because everybody ain't gonna have like a bunch of AAU coaches hyping them up and want to see them make it because they want to be connected to them. Everybody ain't gonna have trainers that work with them and all that stuff and big names and big schools and all that. But can't nobody take your confidence in yourself away. And when you're doing everything in your power to be the best version of yourself, you're gonna be confident because you putting it in. You doing everything to give yourself a chance. And I think that's what as a player what I've been built on. So when something like the other night happened, I missed some free throws, I'm gonna be pissed off at myself, but it ain't gonna break me because the confidence is built in. I done been through it for years and years and years and in worse situations. So I mean, that's what it takes.
Those moments happen. Those moments like that happen. I mean, we've all been through those moments. Not to say that we don't live in those moments afterwards, but we don't soak in those moments. We do. I mean, we human at the end of the day, but we also know that those moments right there is not who we are, because the work that we've already put in, it shouldn't have to come to that. And
right.
It's almost like every dog has his day, right? Missing 2 free throws, that to everybody else, that's the worst shit in the world.
Right.
to me, it happens. I told you that after the game. Listen, it shouldn't have came down to that anyway.
Right.
It's a 0.1% chance that you miss 2 free throws like that.
2 free throws, bro. Like
in the clutch. So that doesn't bother me. But I know the mentality and the mindset that you have. Your support system, I see, is very strong. It's something that as soon as I got to Portland, it was something that I saw. I'm like, damn, he got the whole Oakland out here.
Right.
But that support system is needed. And hearing you talk about, coming up and your pops in your life and in your ear and giving you those gems that stick with you to this day.
Yeah.
Was it imperative that you had that support system when you got to Portland? Did it happen as soon as you got to Portland, or was that later?
No, it wasn't right away, but it was. So when I got drafted, I was like, I'm in the league. I'm trying to break free and live a little bit. And my best friend P, when we graduated high school, he went to Lewis and Clark, which is in Portland. So when I got drafted, he was in his last year. So I was like, I'm finna get a spot. We finna live together his last year. We about to live. So that's what my plan is. And my mom, like, I'm coming. She like,
Mom,
I ain't
never
been out. She like, we ain't never been out there, and you don't know what people finna be. Her first thought was like, people that have stuff get taken advantage of. Like, where we from? If you look like you got money and you look like you got something that somebody want, people will come to your house. They'll come running. They'll try to run in your house, bro. And
absolutely.
So the mentality is like that. Like my mom, they didn't want me just going and getting nice shit. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want me having like jewelry on. They didn't want me in cars all over the place. They didn't want me like, they didn't want me to go out there like that. And then I draw attention to myself and I not be used to having that kind of it was like, I just think she was like, no, I gotta be on top of it. So moms came. My sister was going into the 9th grade, so she came. So then it ended up being me, my mom, and my sister, and my boy P was living out there. So it was just us four the first year. And then my brother, who was he was having like some legal troubles and stuff. But then once he came home, he came to Portland. And then one of my cousins moved to Portland. And then another one moved to Portland. And then everybody, it was like before I knew it, we was maybe I say like 4 years. By my 4th year in Portland, I'm like, I look around, my girl living in Portland now. We 20 deep. But the one thing I say about it that make it like the support of it all so special is like I'm not responsible for 20 people's lives. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's another thing that goes back to how we was raised is like you don't lean on people. You don't come expecting somebody to take care of your responsibilities and do all these things. So I got all this family around me and they supporting me to the highest power. But they all work. You know what I mean? Like they all get up and go to work every day and we stay tapped in with each other. We make sure we spend time with each other. And like what I do in Portland is like the bright spot. You know what I mean? That's like the big deal for us. But our family is kind of carrying on like we always have. Everybody they go home to their own family. They get up, they go to work, and on Saturday or like Thanksgiving, when you came for Thanksgiving, all my family had come to Portland, and we just everybody ain't like let's go to your house and all that. Everybody come to mom's house, and that's the kicking spot. Like we carry on like usual, but you know everybody just super proud that I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's so it's a big part of why I'm so comfortable in Portland and why it really worked for me. You know, it's cool, bro.
What? Let's jump into something else. So you just did the. By the way, Dame is a cover athlete. One of the cover athletes for 2K. That's 2K20, right?
21.
I don't 21. I don't even know what year we in. What's going on? 2K21. Congratulations on that, by the way.
I
told you that already. My son said can he get the early copy.
I got you, bro.
That's a whole.
I'm making sure I could get the early copy, bro.
That's a whole nother subject. Let's talk about your input, your creativity on that project, because it's not just you being a cover athlete. Yeah. There's so many other things that you have going on with that project. So talk to us about the creativity behind it.
So I mean, when I first got with them, I got with 2K maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and they just started to include me on like, I did like the cover in China. I did like the China cover of the game, and then the game in the US, I was on the back cover where you know how they have like some action on the back of the game or whatever.
Yeah,
that's actually a process like of you being a part of the whole situation. So I was like going from there to there. Then they invite me to the event where they launch the game and they'll ask you to do stuff like that. So I've been into it with them for 3 or 4 years, and then they was like, this year I'm gonna be the cover athlete, and it was cool because they was like, what kind of picture would you want to use? We don't want to do a still shot. We want it to be some type of action. And what did you choose? And the one that they actually ended up choosing was from like my second year in the dunk contest. It's like an old, but I was like, I wanted one where I was like celebrating. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted like a celebration shot. So I mean, it ended up being cool, the one that they chose. And then also when we did the little commercial, it was like just because I be into so many different things from just community stuff to obviously playing in the league, doing music. They was like, we want to just do it to where you just doing everything. So in the commercial, I was like, I was a barber and I was the person getting my hair cut. I was on little shows. I was playing like I was Mr. Rogers. I was doing everything. So that was like a cool concept for the commercial. But then the coolest part was, them letting me have like the playlist for the game. And I did like a few tracks for them. It's one that I can't even mention yet. That's gonna be hard. I can't mention it yet, but people gonna know. But that was like my favorite part of the whole thing. I was excited about the cover too. But one of the songs that I did for the game, I was proud of that, bro.
So did you did the whole soundtrack, or you just did a couple tracks?
I did 2 tracks of my own for the game,
Right.
and then I did like a playlist of a bunch of songs that's gonna be on the game. But what I'm trying to do is try to figure out something for where a lot like some of the artists that I do on 4 Bar Friday, where I can work them into the game.
Got it.
So that's like
you should have put that on. You should have put that on there. 4 Bar Friday.
I mean, bro, that I learned that being the cover athlete, bro, it ain't like you just get control of the creative.
Hell no, you don't.
They just
Hell no, you don't.
They might ask your opinion on some stuff, but you ain't. Nah, this ain't your game.
You don't have full creativity.
Nah, bro. Dave Chappelle style, bro.
Yeah. Speaking of music, right? Who is some of the artists that you want to work with?
Man, where do I begin, bro? I want to do.
Like if it's one that let's give me one right now. If it's one that's like, damn, I have to work with him. Like, I have to. Who would that be?
If I had to pick one, I would say Jake. I mean, if I had to say one, I'm gonna say Drake, because everything Drake touches is out of here. So I'm gonna have to go with Drake on the strength of that alone, bro. And I rock with Drake music though. I like Drake a lot, bro.
But you have a sound that that can go with a lot of different artists, right? It's not just you have a very unique sound in the way that you deliver, the way that you put the actual songs together, the production of the song. You're really into that, and I've witnessed that just by being around you and listening to your songs and hearing them, and really paying attention to the actual production of the songs. Whereas a lot of people don't pay attention to that. They just go in there, they play their verse, they tell the engineer to do this and do that, and that's that. You are very meticulous on that sound, what it sounds like, what's here, what's there, mixing and matching. Like, you're very meticulous with that. Is that something you learned over the years, or that's something that you always had, like the feel and the love when it came to music or putting music together?
No, I always. I mean, as far as making the music, I didn't always know how to do that, but I always recognized it in music. So I didn't really know what it was, but I'd be like, I recognized it when I would hear songs.
Right.
But like when I started doing music, it's like it's tricky because being an athlete, I gotta do what I gotta do without people looking at it like, oh, that's corny or whatever. So I gotta be real creative, and I gotta be real hands-on with what I'm trying to get across, or what sound I want to hear. And I actually learned how to do that. I was in the studio with Marsha Ambrosius, and I just saw how she was just layering her tracks and just kind of doing the same. She was just in there like over and over and over and over, and I was like, what is she doing? And then it was like when they played it, I was like, oh, that's how you do it. Like, she was just layering it and adding this and adding that and telling the engineer. So I'm listening to how she's interacting with the engineer, but I don't know what sound she's going for. And then when it comes out, she's explaining it like, I wanted this and I wanted that because I want this to be in the background and I wanted to sound like this when the verse is coming in. Like, she was just breaking it down. And once I saw her do that, and then I heard it after I heard her explaining it, I started to figure out how to make stuff sound how I wanted it to sound. Because at first I would just go in there, say my verse. When I'm done my verse, say the hook. When the hook go off, say the next verse. And I didn't really know, how to layer a track and how to fill it up and do ad-libs without having to just repeat every word that you say in the background. It was like, So that was a lesson for me. I had to figure it out because I wanted it to sound like music that people would listen to every day without sounding like a basketball player doing music, but I wanted it to sound like me. Like
Right.
I wanted to have my own sound, and shit, that took time. That took time to figure it out. You know, I can't just jump into the rap game and not follow the rules of the rap game. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
not be coming correct. So I had to be a student of that, just like how I had to be a student of hoop when I came into the league, and Ronnie Price and Mo Williams and Earl Watson, and they all telling me like, look, when you come off the pick and roll, you can't just hit the pocket every time or make the throw a cross court pass or make the skip pass. You got to look them off like you're gonna throw into the pocket and then skip it, or you got to look high and pass it low. So it's the same thing, bro. Just being a student of it and having respect for whatever the game is that you in, and working at it. And I think in music, I've done that.
But that's what that I think that's what this is as a fan, right? Just a spectator of just you and just listening to the music that I've heard so far. It's a lot different than a lot of other athletes' music, right? And I hate to say athletes' music or athlete this and athlete that, because I hate to box people in
Right.
into one lane and just keep them in there. But you are like, honestly, you do a very good job at your music, and you can tell by listening to your music the amount of time you spend on making sure that everything is right, making sure that the production is right, making sure that this sound is right, making sure that the listener is hearing this in the background and hearing this note or hearing this sound. Like a lot of quote unquote basketball players or athletes don't take the time to study the game like that. They just see it. They see the game. Oh, I'm about to go ahead and just lay a verse. I'm about to just say some shit, talk some shit, see what happens. Just throw it. Give me a live beat, and that's not who you are at the end of the day. But that carries over, right? That carries over to the game of basketball at the same time, because you do the same thing. You like again, you said they told you don't hit that pocket pass every time. Look them off. Look up, pass low. Like that's the same thing that I see is very consistent across who you are as a person, and a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. No, I think part of that too is being willing to learn, bro. Like so far this is my 8th year. I'm a 5-time All-Star. So when we get you on the team, like in the game, if you like something simple, like come off the sideline, because I'm gonna listen to what you got to say, because shit, you might be able to tell me something that I'm not recognizing.
Right.
And I'm not looking at it like you trying to tell me to do something or whatever. I'm looking at it like this another way I could take advantage of the other team.
Right.
Let me listen. When Terry say something, I'm like, I'm taking in whatever people say to me, like, how can I add this? Like, how can I make this a weapon for me? So just not being above like somebody telling you something or being above some criticism is the same thing. Like for example, when I do music, I'll send that shit to J. Cole. I've been trying to do a song with him forever, and he just like, when the time is right, like, we'll do it, but it gotta be the right one. So I send him anything that I think is hard like that. I'll be like, yeah, he gonna fuck with this one. I send it to him, and he'll be like, when the time is right. So I'm not offended when he not just like, oh, I'm jumping on that. You know what I'm saying? Because when I send it to him, I want to know this the one. I send it to Common, like I send it to Wayne. I send it, you know what I'm saying? I send it to people who I know they not gonna fuck around with it if they don't really feel like it's hard. So I'm gonna get the truth out of that, and they gonna give me some direction. So, and they do that. So like, same thing with like YB and Corday. That's my partner.
Big
like,
shout out.
He done brought me on the stage at one of his shows, let me perform and everything. But I just sent him a couple tracks, and he'd be like, nah, that don't really motivate me. You know what I'm saying? Like that production ain't really my style or whatever. I'll be like, cool, let's figure it out. But like, that's what type of time that I'm always on, bro. Like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm not gonna half step. I'm trying to figure it out. I want to do it right, and I want to do that shit good. And
But that goes back to what we talked about earlier, the core values that you was brought up on.
Yeah.
It take precedent over a lot of things today, even though that
Yeah.
you was taught that as
A long
a
time
young
ago.
age, right? So a lot of people won't be as willing and open minded to take that advice from other people, right? Because they might feel like, oh shit, I know what I'm doing. Like
Yeah.
he ain't gonna tell me how to do what I want to do. Like it's
Right.
you know you got ego and pride comes into play when it comes to
Right.
that. So a lot of people don't handle situations like that. Most people don't handle situations like that, which is why you are who you are. I'll say let me ask you something crazy though. No, that ain't nothing crazy. What's the difference between Dame and Dollar?
Dame. How can I say it? So Dollar, I would say, is like me in every form of myself. Like the reason I came up with that name is because like I recognize the difference in me from a lot of people that are my peers or a lot of people who are in position that I'm in. Like I don't feel like it's a lot of people who are, for one, like I feel like I'm a great basketball player. I feel like I'm a really good rapper. I think I'm a really good friend. I'm a really good brother. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I know in my heart I'm a genuine person, bro. I do stuff the right way. I work hard. I don't take advantage of nobody. And then with all those things, like I'm really from the neighborhood, bro. Like I've really been around everything you could think of. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been connected to a lot of things that somebody in my position have not been connected to. I know about stuff that a lot of people don't know about. And I know that and I embrace that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like different on levels the Lord allowed is super necessary, bro, because I didn't make me this way. I didn't give myself like I didn't give myself the environment I grew up in and the people and the parents that I have and the kind of family friends that I have. I didn't give myself that, bro. This was written for me. And a lot of people don't have that. Like playing with another like special guard and wanting to see him do his thing and not hating. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing, like even you coming to our team, people was like, man, Melo coming, and I was like, bro, I love Melo. They doing him wrong. I want to see, like I told you last night, I'm happy to be a part of your story. Like people don't have that, bro. And
No, not at all. Not at all.
I recognize what I have, bro, and all of the things that I just mentioned. And I would say maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, I started embracing it even more. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, bro, this ain't no normal situation. My brother tell me all the time, but I'm like, you know what? He right, bro. I got to step into that, bro, because people don't have that. So like, I think that's who Dollar is, like me in all
Right.
forms and like everything that I am. And I think Dame or Damian, that's who, that's who the world, that's who the world knows, bro. That's like roll call at school. I walk into class and the teacher like Damian Lillard, and I'm like here. So
Right.
like, how many of those classmates really know me? They just know if they hear
That's
Damian
you.
Lillard, they're gonna be able to point me out. They're gonna know, but like they don't know Dollar. That's why they call me when they see like if you see me out, you're gonna be like, hey Dollar, something.
Right.
And if I see somebody that I don't know like that, they're gonna be like, hey Damien or hey Dame or whatever.
No,
Like
they gonna call you Damien.
they don't know. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's real, man. Let's I got a question. Somebody, let me see. By the way, somebody said Dame is a real mature man worthy of superstar status. Preach, Dame.
Bro, I don't care about that either, bro. I had to get on Skip Bayless' ass earlier today.
Hey, what happened? You did something else, man. Who you said something to
I
now,
ain't
man?
do nothing, nah, bro, because he he so he was I don't even know. I just lost it, bro, because he got on Twitter today, and I just happened to see the tweet. He was like, I don't know if I'm buying Dame time, and he's not a superstar. And it made me mad because I don't care about who's a superstar and all that. What does that even mean, bro?
Right. We
What
just
does
had
it
this
even
we
mean?
just had this conversation the other day, bro.
Yeah, like what does it mean when y'all say this guy's a superstar or this guy's not a superstar? Like, what's the criteria for that? Like, what is the criteria for being a superstar? Is it how popular you are? Is it like, because if you win a championship, you're a champion.
Right.
If you win an MVP, you're an MVP. If you're an all-star, you're an all-star. But like, what is this superstar y'all keep throwing out or not? Like, I don't understand. I don't really care if he considers me that or people consider me that or not. But like, he was
Hold
like,
on. Not to cut you off. Where have I been at? When is all of this going down?
it was today, bro. So I just saw the tweet and I basically told him, I was like, bro, I don't believe in nothing about you. You a clown, basically. And then I was just like, you the same person who I had a private conversation with, and he backpedaled the whole time, bro. He didn't stand on nothing that he said when we was on the phone. He just was like, I could just really make him look bad right now, but I ain't gonna do that. But he backpedaled the whole time, bro, on the phone.
But why would you expect anything else from that? If, you know what I mean? Like,
I didn't
why?
expect. I wouldn't even say I expected anything different. But I said one thing on Twitter, like way back when I was like, I'm not playing if we can't make the playoffs. And somebody else said, you know, I was entitled or spoiled or whatever. And I went in on him like, bruh, shut up, whatever. Don't stop speaking on me. And then I was like, Skip, we can talk if he want to talk. So he seeked out my number and called me. And when he called me, I was just like, bro, I don't know you like that. Like, you don't owe me no explanation. I don't know you. Stop speaking on me incorrect. Like, for your ratings or whatever. And he just backed out on some, I'm depressed and
Listen, man, you know people got to tell their vision. That's what television is for, man. Is their vision. It ain't your vision. It's something that they already done put down. They got to go back and forth. They got to debate. It is what it is, man. We're gonna take your Twitter from you, man.
hey man, whatever.
You got Twitter fingers.
I got Twitter fingers and I got real fingers too, bro. I be trying to, how people be like, man, stop going down to their level. You don't got to say nothing. Just ignore them. I be like, bro, I could ignore them, but like, I be having time, bro.
Nah, we human though, dog. Like at the end of the day, we are human, and as much as we say, man, we ain't worrying about that. We don't worry about it, but it comes a point in time where it's just too much. Enough is enough. Like, okay, cool, you can say this. I understand your job. You have to say this. You have to say that. But when you constantly and repeatedly just saying shit and doing things just because, that don't sit right with me. So now I put you in this box where I know how to deal with you. And
I ain't gonna lose no sleep, but you're not about to just say what you want, bro.
Right. Because it comes a point in time where we have to stand on our square for what we believe in and who we are. We work too hard to be who we are as people, as athletes, to have somebody every single day trying to knock that down. We've been knocked down our whole life. So why when we get here, we got to continue being knocked down? But that's just that's just that mentality, man, and that society that we live in. Say it again.
I said it's their job too, but like I just be having a hard time trying to figure out who made them the experts. Like who made their word law? Like who made your opinion law?
Right.
I'd be confused by that, bro.
The great debaters, man. That's what it is. Before we get out of here, man, I want to, since we were talking about music, your favorite album to listen to, right? Forget an album. Forget your favorite artist.
Say that the favorite album to listen to right now.
I had to think about that. Your favorite artist to listen to right now.
My favorite artist to listen to right now, I'm gonna go with. I like Roddy Ricch a lot, bro, but right now I'm gonna say Rod Wave.
Got it. Your favorite album of all time.
My favorite album of all time, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
I like that. Let me see. Your favorite point guard of all time.
My favorite point guard of all time, AI wouldn't be considered a point guard. So, favorite point guard of all time, I'm gonna go with. Damn, I can't go with AI. So
Why you can't go AI?
he ain't a point. He ain't a point guard. I would say AI.
He a
But if you
hybrid.
needed, I would say AI. But if it had to be a real point guard, I'm gonna go AI. But then I'm gonna go. Mm, I'm gonna just go with AI. I like too many point guards, bro. Like my favorite point guards was like Nick Van Exel, Gilbert Arenas, um, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. Like I like them type of dudes, bro. Like
Problem.
um, Stephon Marbury. Them was like players that I liked as a kid. That's
Right.
who I was like. Them was the players I was trying to. I try to do what they do, bro.
Your favorite, your favorite moment since you've been in the NBA.
My favorite moment since I've been in the league. My first game playing in Oakland. We played the Warriors. I had 37. It was
Now,
crazy.
was
The
it
whole arena
was
was
it
cheering for me,
the
bro.
game? Was it the game, or was it just the? Was it you had? Was it because you had 37, or was it just everything that came along with your first game being back, being home, family, friends, live and direct, like
It was
first game back home?
it was everything about it. Like I remember I had never played there before. Like we played like a scrimmage there when I was in high school, but when we got on the bus, we pulled into the parking lot and I remember when you know how the bus at the Oracle used to back into the tunnel.
Right.
And we was backing into the tunnel and then, you know how I'd be fans out there waiting. We was backing into the tunnel, bro. I saw like 5 or 6 of my cousins out there. Like people I went to high school, they was all out there. Like game was like 7 o'clock. It was probably 5 barely. I mean, it was like I see my cousins out there, and not even my cousins that I left tickets for. You know, the distant cousins, just people you
Right.
know. Like
You
I
home.
see, I see, yeah, I see all them out there. I'm like, people really coming out. Like they really fuck with the fact that I'm in the league. So we back into the tunnel. I go out there, we warm up, and one of my partners that like I grew up with, he worked inside the arena. He came down from where he worked at. Like shit, if I get fired, I get fired. He came down. I did my pregame shooting. He was down there watching the whole time. And then when we came out to warm up, everybody was there early. Like I just saw, bro, at least 400 people. Like it seemed like everywhere I looked, it was like like one of my high school games or something. I knew everybody. So we start off, we get beat, and I had like 6 points at the half. And we come out, we was down by like 15, and I hit like 12 shots straight. I ran off like 30 straight. We came all the way back. We ended up losing, but like the crowd was going crazy. It was like they was cheering for us, bro. And then after the game, I came out. I wonder if somebody got a picture, bro. It was literally 200 people, bro. It was like all the way to the top. They were just out there waiting. And then we stayed over, so that made it even better. My cousin was having his baby shower after the game. It was just like one of them moments that it was like, damn, I'm really here. Like
That's a moment. That's a moment that uh that that you would never forget.
yeah, for
Never
sure.
ever forget. And I'm glad you picked a moment like that to be your favorite moment uh since you've been in the league. But we're gonna wrap it up, man. I appreciate you jumping on, man. Monday, you Mellow Mondays, what's in your glass, man. I usually have the guests close out with something that they want to talk, something that they want to say to whether the younger generation or just people out there on just the state that we in right now and as a community, as a black community and as a society. So if you want to close it with a couple words, you got the floor.
I mean, I would just say to the black community and just black people in general, man, we got to show each other a lot more love and support. Um, you know, I notice everybody's trying to do their thing. Everybody trying to figure out, you know, figure their way through life and how they gonna find some success. And I just think we could do a lot better job supporting each other. You know, I know now everybody's like, you know, how can I support this Black-owned clothing line, and how can I do this and how can I do that? Which is a great thing, but I think we could, you know, we could do a lot better at that, bro. Just showing each other love and support and believing in each other and giving, for even us that's, you know, that's a lot more successful, giving other people an opportunity to, you know, to level up like we have. Instead of looking at them like, oh, they ain't got it together, and I don't know if they can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, you ain't gonna be able to stick your neck out and do stuff for everybody, but we gotta love on each other more, support each other way more, man. So
there you have it. That was Damian. Was that Damian or Dollar?
nah, man, that was Dollar, man.
That was Dollar. All right. There you go, man.
Damian would
Dollar.
have been like, have a great day. Have a great day. Game tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, man, Dollar just spoke, man. One of the realest. Somebody I like to call my brother, man. A real, true, genuine friend. Somebody that I'll get in the bunker with any night. I appreciate you, Dame. Get some rest. I need another 50 ball from you tomorrow, champ.
Hey, man. I'm about to drink these 8 bottles of water. It's on tomorrow, bro.
You damn right. I appreciate you, champ.
All right, bro.
All right, baby.